Welcome to the Awesome Earthkind Energy Podcast, Anthony. Would you please tell us who you are, where you work, what kind of work you do?
Yeah, sure. My name's Anthony Mongeluzo. I'm the president of PCS. We're a 150 plus person national IT services and support company. Basically, we help businesses, nonprofits, and some government entities with their technology needs.
And we like to start with why. So, why did you move to clean energy with this project that you did?
I never really had an option to move the clean energy until I bought my building. So I was always a renter. So I was really always at the mercy of whatever the landlord wanted or how they ran their services. And as soon as I bought the building, I had some friends in solar. They reached out to me, and it was a no brainer. And there were so many reasons. I mean, one, we're environmentally friendly. If you look at the amount of trees that we're saving, carbon offset, things of that nature, it's a tremendous impact for the environment. But financially, there's also a tremendous impact as well. Here in New Jersey, you could sell your SRECs. Right now, I'm getting $206 an SREC. And I've also significantly lowered my utility bill. So it's a win for everyone.
Fantastic. And so, what clean energy steps did you take? You took solar, obviously, and have you done other things?
We're actually looking into now doing some LED lighting into our building. The building that I own was built in the 1970s, so there wasn't too much focus on green energy back then. So we're going to look at upgrading the lights and being more energy efficient that way. So we're taking every area that we can look at and really just trying to be energy efficient.
And how did you wind up doing the project? First, how big is the building again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, the building is 33,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
And our project was a mixed project. So we did the panels on the ceiling, but we also did the parking lot overhangs as well.
Great. And so, how did you do it? Did you put it out to bid? Did you know somebody? How did you wind up like deciding how to go forward with this stuff?
So I had a longtime friend that came out and introduced me to a solar company. And I really did not go through a bid process. There was a lot of trust up front. I have a great relationship as well with my bank and our CPA firm. So they keep a good lookout for me to make sure because they also have other clients that participated in solar. So they had an idea too what the pricing should be.
Great. And did you pay cash? Did you get a loan? Did you do a lease? Did you do a power purchase agreement? Like, what kind of financial structure did you do this with?
I almost feel like all the above, right? So the interesting thing is, the bank actually wanted to take my tax credit. So my project was a little bit over $1.3 million dollars. At that time, the tax credit, the one time gift, I'll call it, was 30% of the project. Well, since I didn't want to give that to the bank, I had to give the bank 30% down, which I did in cash. Then I did a regular, 10-year term loan on the solar. So I own the system completely myself, and I actually just restructured my mortgage for the building and flopped the solar into it now since rates are so good. So the deal even got a little bit better because I don't think any of us expected rates under threes, especially in the commercial space.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? So in the commercial space, it's pretty much of a no-brainer. I mean, you get the tax credits, which now are down to 26%, but it's still a federal tax credit, 26%. It's not bad, right? And then you get the
Big
depreciation
time.
benefits, which as a business you can write off. What people don't realize a lot of times is that if you're a resident and you finance it in a home equity mortgage and you have the right structure, you can then write off all the interest on the loan as well, which you can't do as a resident unless you have that built into your home mortgage. So there's a bunch of different interesting little intricacies there that wind up being of extensive benefit. So did you wind up taking the accelerated depreciation too in the first year, or did you structure it out? Or
I did it over 2 years.
wonderful, so it had a significant impact on your whole tax basis then, huh?
Oh, it changed the game for our taxes. It was unbelievable. I mean, I when my friend came in and proposed a solar solution, number one, I trusted him fully. But sometimes when someone tells you it's too good to be true, it seems like that it is. When I checked with my bank and my CPA, they said he told me the 100% truth, and I could tell you, over 2 years past since we turned on, it's all true. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is a great deal, right? And that's one of the things I think you're right is that either people don't know about it, or they've heard about it, or they don't know anybody else that did it, so they're scared of it. And then someone comes and tells them, and they're like, "Ah, this can't be true. How could this be that this is that great, right?" So
Oh, I
yeah,
had
I mean,
so many people say that to me. So many people said, "Watch yourself. You're going to get ripped off. These companies are fly by nights. Nothing's that good." Like I had a lot of negativity, and just based off the trust relationship and the community that we built, the people I know, I went forward and I really didn't worry about it too much. And again, all those naysayers, they would have hurt the environment, right? Because we'd be burning up more energy and hurting the environment, and they would have hurt my wallet and they would have hurt my tax return.
yeah, so okay, so on incentives, then you wound up with a 30% federal tax credit. You accelerated depreciation. You wrote that off over 2 years, so you got some massive tax and benefits. And then in New Jersey, in some states, they give you a grant incentive up front. That's what happens in New York and a bunch of other states. But in New Jersey, they got something called the Solar Renewable Energy Credit. So tell us how that works, if you would, in the SRECs.
Yeah, so that's actually very easy. I use a system. I apologize to Kevin. I want to say because I always call it FLET, but it's Fleet Exchange. It's FLEET. They actually make it really easy for me. Basically, every month, summertime obviously we do a lot better than wintertime. For every megawatt hour that we produce, I get one SREC credit. And summertime, some months I'm doing 50, 60 SRECs. So then at the end of every month, I don't do it personally, but this system that we subscribe to basically takes those SRECs, those credits, and we sell them. So, on average, I would say probably we're getting, $10,000 a month. And that's saying, August, might be 14, 15,000, and, December might be six, but averaging out, you're probably looking at 10 grand a month in money that comes wired right to my bank account.
Pretty incredible, huh?
Yeah.
So, if you did you calculate your return on your investment? What did you get a number there, a percentage?
To me, I think it's 2 years because one, if you look at the accelerated depreciation and the credit, I mean, right there, you're looking at, 900,000 million bucks, right? 40% of 1.3. And then you figure 2 years, my energy bill's been down about $7,000, $8,000 a month on average. So let's call that 90. And then let's say I'm getting 120 off the SREC. So 2 years of that's 400 there, your tax benefits. And guess what? We're on year two. We have a lot more to go with this thing. And I truly believe when I got my building reevaluated, it added value to my building. It's going to extend my roof life's going to be extended because it's not taking the direct environmental hits either. The panels are.
Yeah, it's another added benefit, right? So it's pretty incredible. And a lot of things that some owners did. I did a project a while back for Macy's, and this is the way they do all their roof renovations across the country is they actually build the roof renovation into a solar project and have the solar project, then they get the tax benefit not only from the solar, but also from part of the roof renovations, which is another interesting way of adding value. But in your case, even without that roof, the direct roof benefit, you still got like a 50% return on your investment.
Oh yeah, it's been fantastic. I mean, I can't say enough good things about solar. You'd have to extend the podcast time for a couple days. I don't think anyone wants to hear that though. So
Yeah, well, it's okay. So, all right. So, 50% return on your investment, pretty incredible. Great environmental impact, extended the life of your roof. And then you got equipment now that's going to generate electricity. It's guaranteed for like 25 years, right?
yeah, we got great warranties on everything. So I pay my annual maintenance, which you would think the project was 1.3. You would think maintenance would be incredibly expensive. It's like 6 grand a year.
Yeah, it's like really teeny, right? It's all solid state technology. All they got to do is make sure all the bolts stay tight and nothing breaks. No creatures ate at the wires, that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, it's great. You are definitely a poster child, Anthony. It's a
And,
wonderful
and I
thing.
have to and I have to tell you, when people drive past our building, we're one of the few buildings in Morristown, New Jersey, that has it. So it also creates a little purple cow. Everyone stops when they sees that purple cow because you don't see that too often. So I think it gives a little extra attention to our business. And without saying anything, we're showing that we're environmentally friendly. We're showing that we're innovative. So I think there's some intangibles that you don't think about when you're doing the project.
Yeah, and one of the things that's starting to happen now is a lot of the big national retailers and other the tech companies, they're all not only going green themselves. So you got Facebook and Apple and Google and Salesforce that are all going that way, but they're also getting all their value stream to go that way too. So all their suppliers are going to have to meet these green, clean, renewable energy requirements. So you're going to see more and more, I think, that starts happening as more and more people get told to do it. Besides the fact that they want to do it and do the right thing. So there's a lot of different benefits that wind up coming, and yeah, the potentially the intangible benefits of the marketing alone could be substantial, which is really cool, right?
Love
Um,
it.
all right, lessons learned. So, anything happen? What would you do differently? What kind of lessons did you learn along the way?
So the only real lesson that I learned during this whole procedure is make sure you know your local officials. We had lots of mistakes in our town. It was almost like the Keystone Cops. 6 months after the project, they lost our deposit check, the township. Nothing to do with the solar company. They put it in the wrong file. They took a very long time with the meeting agendas. Morristown kicked us off the meeting agenda for, I want to say, 2 meetings, possibly three. And then after getting approved in the meeting to move forward, it took our fine township another 60 days to produce a 55 word ad. So then I could wait another 60 days to make sure no one in the community complained, which they weren't going to. But I wasn't going to put out that kind of money. I was going to lay out 400,000 in deposit until I knew this thing was a go. You never know. It would take one call. So I would just say to really, get ahead of the process, make sure you know your officials, make sure you talk to the township, and just put those ducks in a row. Um, Other than that, it was smooth sailing. It really, the only lesson I learned is that it's great.
Awesome. So, from the time that you decided to do it till the time it was constructed was about how long a period of time to say?
I was probably 14 months,
Okay.
and if it wasn't for all the political riffraff, it would have been probably about 8 months.
And the actual construction was
Oh, fast. I mean, that thing, once they started, and remember, our construction was more complicated than most because we had to get all those big steel beams to raise up in the parking lot. I mean, if this was just a roof job, it would have been half the time. So this was heavy duty construction, and I want to say 4 or 5 months. I mean, it literally waiting on the township engineer's stamp. It was fully complete, sitting there for 2 months.
wow. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of times the town and sometimes the utility too, but it sounds like you didn't have utility issues, huh?
The utility was a real pain, but I think the issue more lied on the town. There was a lot of finger pointing between the two. Luckily, though, I think the utility performed better than the town.
Okay.
They were a little bit slow. They were a little bit backed up, but once you got the right executive's phone number and you knew some similar people, the process sped a lot faster.
Okay. Great. So, part of the key lesson is get to know your town officials really
Know your
well, huh?
people. Know
And
your people.
get them to play ball. It's a great thing. Yeah, a lot of municipalities that still don't know about solar, how it goes, what to do, and it gets even worse when you start dealing with some other technologies like geothermal heat pumps and such. They like have no clue and they don't know what to do with it. So,
Right.
so yeah, the education piece is key. Awesome. So you mentioned one of your next steps. So LED lighting. You got anything else on the clean energy or environmental plan?
Well, if we get some more buildings, we're going to be doing more solar. I'll tell you that. Right now, our other locations in Delaware, we're renting. In Vineland, we own our building, but it's part of a condo association, office condo. So we don't have too many options there. But probably expanding the LED lighting out to Vineland after going through it with Morristown. Checking out that ROI and seeing what we could do there.
Yeah,
But
you. Yeah.
other than that, though, I think we're going to hold off on projects for a little bit. Thankfully, with the economy opening back up, a lot of our clients need a lot of work, so we're spending a lot of time servicing them, and back to business as normal.
Yeah, it's great getting things going again, right? So it's been
The
a
best.
long haul, man. So, all right, great. So that's this part of the interview. Want to keep going on the extended interview?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'm supposed to clap for my sound person. That way she knows that that's where the first part break is. So
Excellent.
just tell me where to go. All right. So there's something that you did that is like one unique value tip tactic that you think people should know, but they don't. I think you've kind of touched on it a little bit, but if you would expound on that, we call them supernovas, just things that people should know that they don't usually think about.
You want something with solar? You want something computers? My main business? What area?
Yeah, more. This one is good, but you could do both. Do both actually.
Okay.
Let's do both. Let's do go both.
So for solar, the one magic tip, and this is going to sound very stupid, but make sure if you have your professionals lined up, you need to have the right banker, right? I didn't know it. I was very fortunate with TD. A lot of these banks, they will not do and they will not insure or mortgage solar. The second thing is if you're going to buy a building, make sure with your lender, if you're planning on doing solar down the line, that they will help you because even if you find a bank that can do the lending, if they don't have the mortgage on the building, they don't want to touch it. So I did not know that up front, but I learned that. And thankfully, I was in a fortunate position with TD Bank because they held the mortgage on both. And on the IT industry, what I'll just say is, spend some money training your team on spam emails. It's getting worse and worse. There's little services you could buy. It's cheap. The way that we hack people, because I have a company that does hacking and cyber attacks and penetration tests and things like that. Most of the time in this world, in this industry, you think we're hacking your technology. We're actually getting in your network just by tricking your people. So that's the biggest weak link. Everyone thinks that we're going to hack your server and all that. Eventually we will, but we'll just have one of your people open the door for us because that's usually a little bit easier.
Yeah, speaking of which, I just got a notice today from Experian that somehow somebody got into my Experian account and changed my email. And it took me a good part of 3 hours to straighten that together. So I have no idea what info they got, but I've had an identity theft issue in the past. And I'll tell you, it's no fun at all. So that's a great tip. Thank you so much. So okay, so through this whole process, would you say there was a worse clean energy moment that's kind of happened where you got worried for a bit, and what was it about?
I'll tell you what, not during the process, but after the process, we had like a mini hurricane in South Jersey, and I mean winds were 90, 100 miles an hour, and I just remember going outside watching these panels in the parking lot swinging, and that was a little scary. So I called my guy up, and literally, not the most professional, but I'll give it to you straight. He goes, "Bro, these things survived Hurricane Sandy. You're fine. Go in and go back to work." So and guess what? They did. So we're good. So that was my only oh crap moment because
Yeah,
I was like, what if this thing goes down between forget losing the solar, right? What if I trash, 20 of my tenants' cars, right? That wouldn't be a
yeah.
good day, but I can tell
No,
you it could withstand some pretty good wind.
that's outstanding, boy. Yeah, that is great. And you're right. When it's in a carport situation, you got to worry just about that. So yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Well, yeah, they are built to last. I think like 100. Most are 120 or 150 mile an hour winds. So depending upon where you are and what the requirements are, but it's great that they had a good standard there. And
Yeah,
that's
I'd rather not test it, but that's good to know.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, was there a particular aha moment where sort of a light bulb went off in your head? And tell us about that.
So an aha moment for me was when I was working with the exchange. I really didn't understand how the credits worked and how everything in the spot market, and I learned quite a bit about that. And especially my aha moment was probably about a year after the solar was installed. I didn't realize when we did our solar contract, we only promised them 80% of the SRECs because if we made X commitment and didn't do it, we'd actually get penalized because that they're basing their budget on that. So my aha moment for that was in February of this year. I looked and like I said earlier, yeah, my average is 10. There was 30 some $1,000 deposited into my account. And I realized they sold all the excess that we produced over and above the contract. So like, oh, so that's how that works. So
Very nice.
yeah, we're looking forward to next February. It's sunny out today, so we're making money too while we're doing this, so that's good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And one of the things to keep an eye on is, and talk with you guys about it, is that in certain utility territories, and I don't know about yours, but in certain utility territories, you can modify when that year cycle is,
Yep.
and depending upon when it is and how they adjust. In particular, it's more on the energy side of the bill than it is on the SRAC side. But depending upon when that time of year is, you might be able to increase your dollar value. So, for instance, in New York, if you did it in February, it's not as good as if you ended in, let's say, May, because starting in May, what happens is the sun starts kicking up and therefore you get all that excess and it carries through. And if you close out in February, you're at a certain rate, which is the wholesale rate in February that you're getting paid as opposed to the rate in May, which is much higher. So there's just some things that you might want to just keep an eye on and talk to you guys about it, because in New York, you can adjust your date, your anniversary date, by once over the lifetime. So February it could be great in Jersey, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
in that particular territory, but something to talk to your guy about whether or not it makes any difference at all for you. So
And yeah, one of the
fantastic.
nice things he did talk to me about that. One of the nice things was for me, it was just easier to lock in, right? There was definitely different rate options and all that, but I didn't want to have to be for me personally, just with everything else going on, a couple of businesses I'm involved with. I was like, you know what? I don't want to be a day trader. Not that it's day trading, but year one they locked me in at $226 in SREC, so it was a no brainer. You know, I
Yeah.
could have probably made more, but when I weighed the risk, reward, and everything else, it was kind of like, you know what? This one we do a lot of other stuff. I'm going to set this one and forget it.
Yeah, you know, a lot of, again, there's everybody's got to judge how much time, effort, energy you want to put into thinking about this stuff, and what's the, as you said, return on investment versus the risk, and what else you got going on. So the opportunity cost of your brain time, right? So
Exactly. I mean, look, now maybe if I had a 300,000 or million square foot building, then you're really looking at that. Not
yeah.
that I'm not pumping out a decent amount of SREX, but I mean, there's organizations that make us look like a small fry. So,
Oh
and
yeah, 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 for sure. Yep. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So you're absolutely right. So okay, all right, into the Pulsar round, where we ask you for short, succinct, amazing, and mind-blowing answers to these questions, sir. Are you ready?
let's do it.
All right. Best advice you've ever received.
Best advice I've ever received is never give up,
Never give up. Never surrender.
never surrender, no quit.
Keep going. Excellent. A personal habit that contributes to your success.
I want to say ADD is my superpower. Never been diagnosed, but I think just being a little crazy, and just following up, it leads to great customer service experience, and you never let anyone down by following up.
Great. So you call that ADD, huh? That follow up?
You know what? Look, I was born in 1980, right? Like all these pills and Ritalin and all this stuff the kids take for us, they just said, you know what? Just lock the kid in the room. So I was never diagnosed, but I definitely have a little extra energy than some people sometimes, I think.
We're all on the spectrum
Little
somewhere, right?
aware.
So that's great, man. An internet resource that you think people should know about.
I'll give you a fun one here. Dealcatcher.com. It's a website that gets you good deals, and they basically scour the internet. I used it quite a bit in my life, and save some money and get some cool products.
Cool. Dealcatcher.com. Awesome. Book that you'd recommend and why?
I'll tell you this: I've read it 100,000 times probably. My favorite, and my Bible. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And what you want to do is you want to get Think and Grow Rich, the originally published one in the 1920s, 1910s. There's some new age spin-offs on it and all that, but the lessons are timeless. That's where I learned really never give up. And anytime I'm having a major life change, buying a new house, buying the building, looking at acquiring a company, I go back to my roots and I read it.
Think and Grow Rich. All right. Magic wand. Imagine you had a magic wand. You could change one thing for everybody in the world. What would it be?
I'd make us all younger but keep the same wisdom.
Ooh, if I only knew then what I knew now, huh? Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Wouldn't that be great, huh? All right. All right. WTF or F? Weather time fudge or weather time fun? An extreme weather event, and tell us the story behind it that wasn't so great, but you lived through, or the most fun you ever had and the weather it was.
A crazy weather story. Well, I could tell you. I'll give you two. One sentimental. I used to make fun of my dad. He's no longer with us, but he was very claustrophobic, and I'm like, why are you claustrophobic? Well, back in 1993, we had the blizzard of Philadelphia, right? The whole place was down. Well, my dad's stuck in the car, and in order to help him, jokingly, right, I threw a bucket of water on that frozen car and stuck him in there more. He almost had a heart attack. I think. I don't know. He was a lot younger then. I would have done it older. So that's my most fun weather story. My most oh crap weather story happened probably 2 years ago. I live in Medford, New Jersey. It's a very wooded area, lots of big trees, and I literally have a video. Maybe I'll try to send it to you as a supplement if I can find it. I took it on my phone. I'm driving down my road. It's called Atson Road. It's a 1.9 mile hike to my house, dodging trees falling down because from the snow and the water and all that, the trees were literally uprooting out of the ground, and I almost didn't make it home that day. So that's my scary one.
Yeah, my gosh. Yeah, wow. So it was obviously winter time or on the edge or
It
one of
was
those.
it was we were in the middle of winter, and this storm hit so hard, so fast. I only had a 30-minute ride home from the office, and I wasn't being dangerous. I wasn't trying to be at the office, too long. It was just a powerful storm, and it was scary. It was very scary.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one of the things that's pretty crazy nowadays with all the things going on with the climate are these extreme weather events, and we're seeing them, absolutely with windstorms and tornadoes and hurricanes and floods and yada yada. Out west, they have the fires, and now they got fire tornadoes, which is like unbelievable. And then the polar vortex, right? Who ever heard of a polar vortex? But basically, it's a cyclone that happens, a hurricane that happens, and you're sucking it down all the ice cold air from up in the atmosphere down here, and it's creating just crazy situation. So glad you're all right though, man.
Yeah, and guess what? There's still time left in 2020. I'm sure some more things will be invented to torture us.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why it's really good for all of us to head in these clean energy directions, because 90% of the greenhouse gases we're emitting are from our electricity, our heating, or our transportation. So it's all about clean energy, man. So great. All right. What's one thing you're energized about today, Anthony?
So one thing I'm energized, you guys are going to get a little sneak peek here. So cybersecurity company I'm involved with, been around for a while. We're actually going to be formally partnering up at the beginning of the year, rebranding, and I won't say the name or anything else yet because my partners will kill me. But I'm very excited. I'm very juiced up about it. Cyber attacks are on the rise. One of the things I predicted, I do Fox 29 News, and one of the things that I predicted was when this pandemic started that you're going to see one of the biggest hacks in the world's history because of this, because now you don't need to hack people's corporate systems. I don't need to hack Lockheed Martin now to get into Lockheed Martin. I need to find someone working from home that's VPN'd in there and hack their home computer. So I think there's going to be a lot of situations where companies are hacked right now. They don't even know they're hacked. The hacker is going to live in there for months and months and months and gather data. And fortunately for our business, unfortunately for the situation, but fortunately for our business, I think there's going to be a very, very high demand. So this partnership and it's going to be very exciting. It's going to make me feel a little younger since I'm 20 years into PCS. So I love the startup. Not that it's a startup, but it's a lot smaller.
Yeah, no, but it's great. It's exciting. It's a whole new area for you. So good luck with that, man. Yeah, it's fantastic. And cybersecurity is just, yeah, it's blowing up, right? It's just going crazy. So
if you were a fly on the wall in my office, the work that we clean up, some of the Fortune 500s and things like that, there's a lot of badness going on in the world these days, especially when it comes to cyber criminals and hacking, and it's only going to get worse.
yeah, yeah. Well, good luck with the new venture, man.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, grand finale, a piece of parting guidance and advice. And if you want people to contact you, the best way, please.
Sure. So for advice, the one thing I always say, a lot of times people would ask me, "Hey, how'd you get successful? How do you do this? How do you have 150 people? How'd you get there?" You know what? I started at 20 years old with me, no employees, working out of a parent's house. The one thing I will tell anyone, the only thing that makes a successful person more successful is an extra hour or two a day. You just got to be consistent. Put that extra time in, go that extra mile, make that one extra call. So that's the best piece of advice I could give. Nothing comes easy. It's hustle. It's all about the hustle. You have to have a good product. You have to be good at what you do. Most people are though. That's the average, right? That's your C. If you want to be an A, just give that extra time. Pick up that phone. And speaking of which, I'll give you my contact info. So always connected, right? 24/7. My email is Anthony at helpmepcs.com. That's HELPME PCS.com. And obviously our website's helpmepcs.com. And our phone number is 877-596-4446.
Outstanding. Any last thing that I didn't ask you that you wanted to say?
No, you know what? This was great. We went through a lot of the different topics of clean energy, solar, the return. So I think we hit the full gamut here, and I hope everyone really benefits from this. And again, if anyone wants to reach out to me and see our numbers, or I'll be willing to share anything from my project. I have my whole solar run book. I just think that they say best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Next best time is today. I'll say that with solar, even though was it around 20? I guess it had to be around 20 years ago, right?
Yeah, stuff started. I mean,
Yeah.
the prices have just come down so dramatically now. So you're absolutely right, though. There's no better time than today because you can't go back and do what you didn't do before. So do it now.
Investigate it. Everyone should be looking at this.
Absolutely.
Everyone.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Anthony, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure.